Porque no saben lo que yo sé. Yo escribo, improviso y canto. Bueno, soy la...
A lot of you who are Puerto Rican, even Colombiano, even the Peru, whatever, the trip to Puerto Rico, you will come back different. I guarantee you that you will come back different. That you will get an awakening about your history, about your culture, your people, that you never thought was possible. You will change in how you view yourself.
Viejo San Juan and we have the Ponce, the museum parts of it. But when you have these agencies, you're like, wow, how can I bring that over here? But it all goes through the culture over there because they care. They care.
Yo escribo, improviso y canto y toco la misma vez. La gente me está envidiando porque no saben lo que yo sé. Me están envidiando, oiga, me están envidiando, me están envidiando porque no saben lo que yo sé. Me están envidiando.
To know that what I wrote to myself then and what I saw myself doing later, that I actually did it and it's successful. Like, and if I did that, then I know I can do whatever.
Mine is like I wrote, and what I wrote on that letter, it happened. Exactly how I wrote it, it happened. I'm still working on one of my goals, because I put goals in my letter. I'm still working on one, and it's my language, because I think that when I express myself in Spanish, I can, you know, say a lot of things more than when I speak in English. But I'm still working on it, and I'm going to keep working on it until I, you know, improve everything. And, you know,
I don't remember what time they asked us to write this letter, but it's like they knew what was going to happen. Because I wrote that letter and it was like I was answering them in that letter what is happening in this moment, step by step. What I asked to, what I wished is it already happened. So it was like you guys, I don't know who was the idea of the letter, knew that whatever we write that day was going to happen. Or to me, it's that.
you know what? Something that I wrote in my letter that I put, I would like to get with Latino Partnership at least few friends. And I only have few friends, I have a lot of friends. One of the things that I wrote in my letter was that at least, you know, to get from LPI was at least few friends. And I don't have few, I have a lot of friends that came out of that class.
Okay. I'm just gonna say just a little things, okay? What I wrote in my letter, I say I'm so shy. And I try to be more friendly and try to be not so shy, you know, to speak front to the group. So I think I did it, you know, and also the same like Miriam. I think I make a lot of friends. I make a lot of friends. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your help. Thank you to my leader. Thank you, coach. Thank you to everybody, because you always keep on pushing, you know, and teaching what is supposed to be happy to do. And okay, thank you.
Well, the experience I had reading this letter was, it was emotional. I don't know, like, I feel like I'm still working on what I'm, you know, reading, like what I wrote, but I feel like I accomplished a lot and that just thinking about everything I accomplished makes me feel like I can get to that point. So it's just hopeful. I don't know.
Like to hear Tara Franklin. I know you gave a quick answer, but let's hear more about what was your experience reading through your letter to yourself.
Me? I mean, it's like I always said in the beginning, I didn't know what to expect out of LPI. And I didn't expect it to be, you know, a typical class. From day one, it just seemed like it was just an impactful type of class. Even having the interview, having good cop, bad cop between Danny and Felicita going on. So, but it's, you know, sometimes, you know, I remember Danny talking about yesterday that awesome is a word that we use, you know, like amazing is right, amazing. That was Desia. Like amazing is a word that we use like all the time and everything, but sometimes things don't even have words. They were so good. You know what I mean? Sometimes things aren't even with words. Words just fall short of what it is. So that's the way it felt when I read my letter.
I don't know, I guess I was looking forward to reading my letter. And I didn't really get that much out of it.
Well, sometimes it happens. Because not everyone is going to have the same kind of feeling of reading, looking back and looking at now. So in what ways have you changed? What goals have you guys accomplished? You know, Myriam already started telling us some of her things, and Santos as well. But if folks want to share more in more detail, and if you're comfortable reading parts of your letter or all of your letter, you know, definitely want to open up the floor to that.
Blush.
So mine says, Dear Desia, you are here to become a better professional in business and personal self, and gaining more strength in being healthier. Desia, you would like to also establish in this journey everything that comes to mind to create and share with others. In addition, helping others in need. You also want to learn yourself and learn the things you can do that you thought you couldn't or never accomplish. Hope you receive and accomplish out of this journey is positive motivation in every aspect a person can think of as a leader, not just with your fellow members, but yourself and your family. Desia, towards the end of your journey, learn your culture, your people, your life, and why you are here. Good luck. And that's what I did. And I know, if I did this, I know that I could do anything. I could do anything. Because I did it. I mean, everything that I put on this letter, I did it. From the beginning to the end of it. And if I did this, why stop now? Why not take it back? You know what I mean? Why not keep moving? All I gotta do is just plan it out myself. You know what I mean? I mean, they led it, now it's time for me to lead it. and do it, because it's done. It's done.
Listen, who's going to be your biggest student? Who's going to be your biggest student?
My biggest students? My kids. My kids.
What you learn, you're going to pass it on.
And I think you set an example too for them. They see Ma's taking all these classes on Saturdays, and you know, Ma's bettering herself. Ma went to Puerto Rico for a week and she learned all these things. She saw all these things, and I know you've been taking all these, you know, pictures in the video, and I know, you know, even the video, you know, with your grandma too, bringing it back to your mom. And
like, you know, when I say that I wanted to get out of it, you know, the Latino partnership and like helping people in need, like our community service project made that. You know what I mean? Like, I gave gifts to people back there that were in need, children that were in need, that needed the gifts. Not, you know, it was kids who I knew within our community who I knew needed that gift because they wasn't getting a gift for Christmas. So by, you know, from the beginning to the end, it's done. And I know that it's not going to stop for me here. That's it.
there's Santos, Keisha. You guys also commented of feelings of accomplishment and success. And hope was the word actually that you used, Keisha, that I thought was an awesome letter.
Dear Keishla, you decided to join the LPI program not only to become a leader and gain experience, but to try to break out of my shell. The most important reason for me in joining this program was to kill that little voice inside my head that is always putting me down. That voice that tells me what I can't do. That voice that makes me feel insignificant. I hope that by the time I'm done with this program, that voice would be 6 feet under, with no means of ever coming back to life. Matter of fact, I will cremate that voice because I'm afraid of zombies.
That's okay.
That is the only thing holding me back, is myself. I'm tired of being my own worst enemy.
That's a pretty powerful letter.
I usually hold my spills for the last night. So let me say this to you. I've been hard on you. And everybody knows I've been kind of real hard on you. But I've been hard on you because of what you have said. And I tell you what, if you've been able to hold, you know, everybody throwing things at you and demanding from you, and you holding back and you crying, and you have stayed in this project, you're on your way. You have accomplished. You got a couple more steps, but you have accomplished half of the stuff that you already wrote down. You're on your way. When I gave you that book, read it, and then you're going to understand what I'm talking about. Okay?
Yeah, me too.
I want to share something that I got when I did the community service, that I did it with my son. The other day, I cooked a lot in my house, and it was a lot of, wasted food. And I was going to throw it away. And he said, no, mommy, no, don't throw it away. That's for my pig. And I said, pig? yeah, I'm gonna take it to the people with it when we did the community service. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to them. And he took the food and gave it to the homeless that were at the park. And just because he went with me to help me that day, so you know, now he knows that that's something that he can do, and he said that he will do it. He even asked me to do another one. He said I'm been, you know, so busy that I haven't had the opportunity to do it. But I said, yeah, we're gonna do it. But this time we're gonna take something else. Instead of breakfast, we're gonna take maybe lunch. Like that. Or going on a different day, because that day when we went, it wasn't not that many because they don't like them. So the police go around and they, you know, take them out. But that's something that I, you know, I learned. You know, that I didn't know that I can do that. You know, I didn't knew that.
What you can do.
Yeah.
Set your mind to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You do whatever you want to do. Just set your mind and say, it may take sacrifice, it may take hard time, whatever. If you want it bad enough, what's stopping you? What's stopping you?
Another thing that knowing, you know, the resources that LPI gave us. Not a long time ago, a gay couple went to the office. They want to adopt. They want to adopt. And I give them the information. And I said, you have to become a foster parent first, you know, so you can. And I did my part of my job, but I also engaged them with David Acosta. I said, listen, I'm going to give you this number. Go talk to him. Because he said that he was painting something in the Center City, and he saw something about APM providing services for adoption and foster, because that's how he got to us, by painting and, you know, he was something on the artist things. So I haven't get a chance to call them to see, you know, if David helped them. But they were, you know, willing to go to him and, you know, plan something so they can bring to Philadelphia with the painting and, you know, things that David that day gave us, you know, that information. So, you know, knowing things in FBI, you know, that I can take back to my community is a plus. And that's what I was looking for. That was one of my goals. Learn so I can take back to my community.
I think the other amazing thing of what you shared is we think a lot of times leadership is, you know, the person who's got the title, right? The president or this person, the person who stands in front of the group and says, or commands, or whatever it is. But in your leadership of engaging in that kind of community service, you know, you influenced your son in that way. And there wasn't anything you had to do to convince. There wasn't anything you had to do to be like stand and like be. There was no degree you needed. You know what I mean? Like all these things that we think you need to have to be a leader, and you don't have to do that. It's the way you live your life. The way you choose to live your life provides leadership for the people that you touch in your life. And it's really as simple as that. It's about choosing to stand for what you stand for, like caring for people who have less, and you change the expectation, you change the norm, you know, change people's perceptions and can influence them to do more similar things. Others who want to share about like the ways that you feel like you've changed, and if you want to read parts of your letter, you're absolutely welcome to read parts of your letter.
I was writing. I wrote my journey and what I expect to accomplish. Some personal development and finding who Madeline Marty Neris is. To put closure on some of the many burdens that I've never addressed or forgiven myself for. To strengthen the relationship with my children and my mother. To rekindle or ignite that fire that drives me, what is my passion. How to become a good leader and more community, and move the community to empower and educate my people. To become a better communicator, to stop looking and searching for the acceptance of others, and to learn to love and accept all of me, good, bad, right, and wrong. To overcome the fear of those difficult conversations, to believe in me, to become open-minded, non-judgmental, and to grow. And after this journey, I felt like I've accomplished some of those. I've been able to forgive myself for some things. I'm still working on my relationship with my mom. And as I'm walking back to read my letter, I receive a text from Vic, who was also reflecting at the same time. And we have been working on our health and things that we need to do to get to where we need to be. And it was just thanking me, my kids, and the family for him to kind of want to continue to get healthy, to keep growing, as well as for me, you know. And my biggest thing was forgiving my ex-husband for what he did and letting go. And I did, because I now can find who I am, and I now feel that I am deserving, because I didn't feel that way. Like, hey, Shala, I have those voices that stop me. And you said something today about one of your grandkids, that, you know, he feels horrible and starts to cry when he has to say something and hurt someone else. And I feel that way, so I don't say at times the things I need to say because of the fear of hurting someone else's feelings. Because then I take that back, and it's hard for me to forgive myself. But after yesterday and this whole journey, I am blessed. You know, I have amazing, yes, Danny, amazing group of people who surround me and push me to be the best that I can be. And, you know, I am deserving. I am worthy. You know, I deserve to be happy. You know, so I can let go and just keep moving forward. You know, I want my kids to know who I really am. You know, they know me as mom, but they don't, you know, my son said to me a couple months ago, he says, I was going to go out with a friend. He's like, wow, Mom, you have friends? You know, you have a friend? Because I was always so bottled up with just my family and my kids that I never had the opportunity to grow. I was a young mom, so as a young mother, you know, that was my responsibility and no one else's. So I never allowed my kids to go with anyone, you know, because it was my responsibility. That's my job, you know. With my mom, I couldn't forgive myself for hurting her, for becoming a young mother. So instead of just dealing with it and forgiving myself, I punished myself. And that's why I don't have that relationship with my mom. But I now know that those mistakes are what make us who we are today. And we're supposed to learn from them and not punish ourselves for them. And I've done a lot of punishing. And I'm done. I can't do it no more. I want to grow. I want to keep doing what I got to do. I want to be happy. And I am. For the first time in my life, I can say, I really can say that I'm happy and I have what I need. I have what I need, and God has given me what I need. You know, I talked to you guys the other day. I've never been around women in my life. I've never had women in my life, and bunking with you guys has been powerful to me, because I can learn to trust again and to know that people do have my back. You know, the position that we work in this community community and politics, you tend to forget because you get caught up in some of the games and the bullshit that goes on. But we're the ones who continue to suffer. You know, I want to learn. I want to continue growing with my people. You know, I want to make sure my kids also are able to reflect and know who they are, you know, and accept themselves and know that I'm okay, because they worry about me and I know that, you know. But I want, this is just,
Mari, can I say something?
Ooh.
You have identified the problem.
Yep.
You have dealt with a lot of it. You have dealt with a lot of hurt, a lot of pain. But you keep saying that same pain, that same hurt over and over again.
Yep.
My advice to you, you know it, you see it, drop it. Move forward. You keep saying you want to move forward, but you're still stuck a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Drop it. Move forward. It's hard.
Yeah, it
move
is.
forward.
It is.
If I could drop cigarettes, you could move forward. Like what I'm saying? So the time of saying, I've been through this, I've been through this, you reflected on that, you see it, you understand it. Now it's time to stop it.
Now it's time to deal with it. Now I identified it. Now I have to fix it, because in order for me to move forward, I have to address it. And I haven't, with my relationship with my mother, I haven't addressed it with my mother.
So you need to go back.
Right. That's the first thing that I need to do.
Sit down, Mom, and say, we got to
right.
talk.
Right.
And that's number one.
That's number
out of
one
the
on
way.
my bucket list.
Pa'lante.
And then I'm done. Well, then I'm done. I sat there and I've said it a couple times. I think to a couple people. I haven't even called my mom this whole time that I've been here.
Because
So the first thing I'm gonna do is call my mom.
You're right. You gotta pray. You know, you got a good family around you.
Yeah.
You got a good husband. And you guys seem that you guys really don't know how to get along. To me, it's been a blessing that you have come into Victor's life, because you know how I feel about Victor.
Yes.
And to me, it's a blessing that you have come into his life. And
He's been a blessing to mine.
So now it's time for you and him to set your plans.
Yeah.
Get that monkey off your back. Sit down with your mom, resolve it, and move forward. Move forward. So you can get all that pain out of you and forget about it. Got it, baby?
Yeah.
I want to say something, but I prefer to talk in Spanish because I want to make you feel that what I feel.
Let me move a little forward, porque yo estoy viejito, casi no muerto, tú sabes. And then if you speak Spanish, I really gotta move forward.
Can I speak in Spanish?
Sí, habla para allá.
Yo tuve muchos goles a entrar al team, ¿ok? En mi carta yo escribí to grow and be a better person, okay? And be a role model for my daughters and for the school, because I'm working in the school with kids, okay? And la mayoría son puertorriqueños, el 97%, trabajo en Muñoz Marín. Hay profesores americanos. Yo los ayudo, I'm working for emotional support, okay? Behavior. Los niños tienen muchos problemas y los profesores, los americanos, los tratan y lo dicen. There's such animals. Y yo trabajaba con el tercer grado, segundo grado. Pero Dios gracias, y con la profesora que trabajaba puertorriqueña, ella era como una mamá. Y yo sentía pena por a veces el trato de los demás profesores a los demás niños. Trataba de conocerlos, son puertorriqueños you know, pero quería saber, quería identificarme con ellos. Entonces ese fue uno de los motivos, tratar de protegerlos, tratar de que confíen en mí, que yo no los voy a tratar como los profesores los tratan. No los dejaban entrar a la clase. Get out. Me sentía muy mal. Y junto con, aprendí a conocer a la profesora. Decía que somos iguales, teníamos los mismos, ella muy cariñosa, muy, les hacía bromas, a veces portaban mal, son niños. Y ella les hacía bromas y decía, te voy a dar una pescosada. ¿No? She speak in English, but also in Spanish. ¿No? Pero cuando hablaba en español, yo disfrutaba mucho, o sea, pescosada. Entonces yo aprendí muchas palabras. ¿Y qué es eso? Porque primero yo no sabía. Yo pescosada y me empezaba a explicar y a muchas cosas, ¿no? Y después ella decía, tú eres igual que yo, tú eres igual que yo. Y sí, fue eso una de las... los niños me quieren, confían en mí. Llegaba, estoy de vacaciones, abrazo, mis santos, mis santos. I feel proud. Su abrazo, la profesora igual, abrazo y beso. Entonces, eso fue uno de los motivos. Tengo que identificarme más, quiero conocer la cultura.
¿Lo conociste?
Sí. Y soy yo, es la misma cultura, soy yo.
¿Tú sabes que lo más importante de eso? Es lo que tú viste que los profesores están haciendo ese tipo a los niños. Lo más importante, que tú te diste de cuenta cómo están las conditioning, cómo los tratan, que esos niños empiezan a creer eso. Porque tú no lo tienes que decir solo. Los niños leen.
Ajá, por eso le digo, quería ser un role model para ellos, para que sintieran que tienen cariño, que son niños, que son personas, que no es como los profesores los tratan, no, son niños inteligentes que pueden salir adelante, que tienen que ser profesionales.
A mí, lo hice en la escuela que pasó en Miller, en el tiempo de Miller era en North Square. Y los maestros, como había más que pocos, yo era 2 en la escuela completa, te paraban enfrente y te decían, los puertorriqueños, la única cosa que los puertorriqueños sirven para coger pepa y para colectar wifi. Y esa mentalidad todavía en los profesionales todavía queda esa mentalidad. Y esa es la mentalidad que están dando los niños de pequeños, que tú no puedes, que tú no puedes, que tú no puedes.
Ellos no van a llegar a nada, por ahí se quedan. Y mucho con la profesora hablábamos de eso, mucho, y nos sentíamos tan mal y nosotros tan encouraged, you know? Tú vas a ser un doctor, las dos trabajamos, ¿no? Y el doctor Robles, el ingeniero, y los niños se sentían contentos, felices y empezaban a hacer su trabajo, su tarea.
La primera cosa que todos necesitamos, que día que nacemos, es que amor.
Amor. A eso le digo, mucho cariño, mucho amor, abrazo. Hey Javier, esto, how you feel? Okay, ¿tuviste un buen día o un weekend? No. Sí. Solo eso quería.
Okay, I'm going to share my letter with you. Yo la hice en inglés, ojalá que me entiendan. Y como yo sé que ustedes son muy pacientes, siempre lo han sido. Primero que todo les quiero dar mil gracias. Los bendigo a todos por el carisma, la comprensión y no he recibido nunca una crítica de ninguno de ustedes por such a bad, you know, way of me to speak your language. But anyway, whatever was this, dear Blanca, I have so many dreams in life, but the most important aspect I wish to improve are to better understand people around me. And I wish by the end of this journey to be able to take it and to deal with the conflicts that torment the society. And those problems, I have right over here something that they flip them up the way, in a way, they flip them up the way, the people in a way that sometimes I don't understand. And it is difficult for me to understand since I never had a chance before to share with another communities. So I ask God for help, but especially I would take advantage of this opportunity to share and learn from these coaches, from that beautiful lady that is like has charisma. It touches a person when most needed. That happens with me, and from the classmates I learned a lot too. And so by the end of this journey, I wish I can say I am a volunteer. I am volunteer to come here and be the person who can share the beautiful experience, and I will encourage the new aspirants to grow as a person and to have the potential to give back some of what I learned here. And thank you so much, everyone, for your support.
You accomplished the goal.
I accomplished all of them. I think I accomplished more than what I expected at the beginning. And like I told, I don't know, one of these days that we were talking about when I visit the museums and all this studies, sometimes I judge it. Even those classmates that we have here, I have a little difficulty when we have the last assignment as a group. Not for the fundraising, the one before, the assignment, the big assignment that we have, the project, that's Mira. I have conflict, and I was like, sometimes I was about to throw my towel, so he's in Espanol, I was about to tirar la toalla. And, but I have some people around here that are present right now that tell me, no, Blanca, eso va a pasar, la gente es así, pero tú poco a poco lo vas a conocer. And I understand sometimes when people are younger than me, most of them here are very young. So, as I was talking this morning with Felicita,
What I said, we don't listen to music, we do what? We feel.
As I was talking to Felicita this morning, sometimes in any situations, people react right away, and it is not always the appropriate way. But what happens to me sometimes is, if I think it too much, then I say something that it wasn't what I really feel. Like, and it happens sometimes that something happened to me, if I don't say it, and then I say, I'm gonna relax, and then I'm gonna say this, and this, and I end up like swallowing. But I take a lot. To me, to react in an aggressive way or to offend someone, has to be that someone do something really bad, or that it's gonna be like over and over again.
Stop. Because you say, for me to offend, if you're being honest with somebody, you're not offending and you're not being aggressive. Let's get that out of our heads. That if we're honest with somebody, we're going to be offensive and aggressive. You got to be honest to yourself. You got to be honest to the other person. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
I mean,
and sometimes it's better like if I wanted to say something, it's better to say the truth. Otherwise, better to be quiet. Because I don't like if someone comes to me and says something, and if I tell you what I feel, if I don't tell you what I feel, I'm not helping that, because they're gonna stay like committing and repeating the same mistake. But sometimes, like I was talking to Felicita this morning or later, I don't know. If you say it right away without you thinking, then you might offend somebody. And it is like, sometimes you make mistakes because you don't think about it before you speak.
if you say it out of anger, if you say it out of other condition, yes. And sometimes when you need to say something, you may need to lay back, get your thoughts together, put it together and say, is this what I really want to say? But you always got to say the truth and get it out of you.
But most of the time I change my mind and I don't say nothing.
That's where you're wrong. Because then you carry it.
Yeah, then I carry it. That's what I say. I keep it, and then but I'm a good, like, throwing away whatever is not helping me. Like, someone can offend me and tell me whatever they want, and if I don't react right away, I keep it, and then I forget, and I forgive the person. I end up like, I don't care.
Blanca, you said something to me the other day that kind of hit me a little, but I think it was very sincere. When you said to me, damn, my husband wasn't really crazy.
About what? I'm sorry.
You know, we were talking about
about the
UFOs
the things,
and the water and all that. And you said to me, te quedaste pensando un rato. My husband wasn't really crazy because he was telling me about all these conspiracies.
Yes, he reads a lot. He reads a lot. He is only a school police, but like I told you, with the teachers, he's a school police, so he has a lot of co-workers that are professors, social workers, and everybody. So when he speaks with them, they always say, hey, buddy, you should be a teacher. And he always says, no, the teacher's going to be my wife. And I said to him, I don't know, why didn't you be a teacher? But he says right now he feels he's too old to go to college, especially because he came all here, older, like at the same age I came proudly, and the language is a barrier for any person who wanted to be a professional. Like, we can have a lot to project, but sometimes if we don't understand, we don't speak properly, we can say something else, and that's the problem. Yeah, so that's the problem I have, for example, right now. I'm starting to be an early childhood teacher, but at this point, I'm not really sure if I'm going to be able to do it, because especially little kids, if you say something and they don't understand, they're going to start like, what are you just talking about? Like, they're not going to understand nothing. And it happens to me one day. I was speaking to a lady, and it was a little kid around me. The lady understands me because we always talk, so she probably got used to my accent. And the little kid was Jackson, and he says, Grandma, oh, you speak another language? Did you understand what she said? The grandma says, what did you say? She's speaking English. And he says, oh, like English? Yo no entendía nada de lo que esta señora estaba diciendo. Yeah, so, I don't know. Let's see what happens.
I know you ain't gonna let that stop you.
Huh? Yeah.
I know you're not gonna let that stop you.
Me toca hacer un curso primero de inglés, o de otra manera.
No. Your English is very understandable.
Yes, it is.
I understand. I don't have anybody has a problem with it.
Pero cuando I get stuck with people who speak Spanish, it's easy because you can squeeze something and you understand.
Let me give you this. I grew up in the United States, and every year my father, after 7 years, just sent me here. And my Spanish is bad. So these I could tell you. I sometimes mess up some words. My Spanish is real bad. And sometimes when I come in and I say something, people look at me and laugh and say, así que se dice. And they correct me. You know, but that hasn't stopped me. That hasn't stopped me by saying, I'm going to retire in Puerto Rico. Because I learned and I continue learning. My Spanish is messed up. I mean, that's why sometimes you see me speaking Spanish and English, because I don't know the words of it. You know what I mean? But as long as you try and make an effort that people understand you, I find people here to be very kind. They'll correct you. They'll teach you. You know what I mean? That hasn't stopped me. I don't know why it will stop you, because I understand you. And I think if somebody will not understand you, I think somebody will say, what did you say? Then you try to explain to them. That should not stop you at all.
Yeah, because sometimes, like I say, what happens is they probably don't understand me very well, but they, you know, they don't want to say.
But it's not what the language. It is what you want to give that's important. That's what people would understand. You know, that little kid may not understand right away what you're saying, but after you talk to him a couple of times, give him a hug, and talk to him a couple of times, he'll start understanding you. You know what I'm saying?
I know that at the beginning of the year, I didn't mean to communicate. It was funny, and I feel like, yeah, now you can say whatever you want. And I was like, like you said, because you opened your heart and I got to know you, I get you. I can, you know, and, you know, this whole time, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know, maybe, I don't know what it is, and I wasn't, like, paying attention.
No, it wasn't that probably you always speaking in English, and when I spoke so fast in Spanish, and I said something in Spanish to her, I don't know what it was, hablaba español usted? Porque me pareció como que ella hablaba español y de repente le habló español y me dijo, what? Y le dije yo, ¿qué? ¿Usted no habla español? Pero ella dijo, yes, pero como que usted me habló tan rápido que no la entendí. Y yo dije, ahí caí en cuenta que ella sí habla español, sí entiende español, pero no cuando de repente de momento le salté con una pregunta que ella no esperaba.
It takes you some time, but I think the most important thing is just keep bang your confidence behind it. You know what I mean? Just you're getting. I don't know. I think you've grown to being more outspoken, and now I enjoy when you're questioning. Like I bank on you questioning things now, and it's enjoyable for me. So like, oh, Blanca has something to say. Yay! Like, what's about to come out of her mouth? It's exciting, and I don't know. So
No, it's because you all guys
keep opening the voice.
I expect Blanca that the day, and I'm gonna give you to the day I retire, which is 3 years. The day I retire, that you'll be teaching, because I want to go sit in your class. That's what I expect, baby. 3 years, I'm gonna sit in your class. Okay?
Dios me escuche.
Anybody else? You know, guys, realize something. How many people felt like dropping out of this program? Raise your hand.
How many started dropping out? I ain't lying. Yes, because I had a hard time.
She put both hands up. But you didn't. And that should tell you a lot. No matter how many times you want to drop, no matter how many times that Danny put your pressure, I put your pressure, Amy put your pressure, everybody put your pressure, you stuck in there. You hanged it out. You went with the group, you hanged it out, you stuck it. It's the same thing in life. It's going to become hard, it's going to be difficult, but if you stick it in there, you hang in there, what happens? You go accomplish it. You know, that's the message you need to take to yourself, but more important, that's the message you need to get to your kids and the other folks in the community. Move forward, do not stop.
When the first time I wanted to drop her, the first person who came to my mind was Felicita and Daniel. And then I said, no, I can't let them down because they trust me. They said I have potential to be in that class. And I said, how can I gonna be like, you know what, I can't. And then I was like, and I actually talked to my mom and I said, I'm not gonna come back. This is too much for me. And then I said, no. These two people interviewing me, they had the time because the interview was long, and yes, and they interested in a lot of things. And actually, one of the days that we had an activity, Daniel was like the person who was right there, and he remembers a lot of things that I did. Este hombre se acuerda de todo. Yo dije, no puede ser que después de que ellos confían en uno y para el bien de uno se va a tirar a primera vez.
The other thing, most of the people that drop out were the men, right? Am I right?
Yeah, all the men.
Now, look around in our community, and most of the leadership is who? The woman. The woman. The men got a whole bunch of other ego issues and a whole bunch of other stuff that they got to deal with. You know what I mean? That macho. But most of the leadership in our community, who holds the strength, son las mujeres. Who holds our family, son las mujeres. Who deal with all the problems of the children, electricity, and all that. ¿Quién son? Las mujeres. You know what I mean? But the fact that you guys hung in there, and I didn't lie to you. In the beginning, I said to you guys, it's going to be hard. You're going to go through an emotional trip. Did you go through an emotional trip? Yes. But that's life. You know, just because you went through LPI doesn't mean you're not going to go through a lot of emotional trips out there with relationships, with, you know, bills, with kids and all that. But now I think you'll know how to deal a little bit better with it because you know there is a future. And if you deal with it, things will change. That's my spiel because I leave my rest of my spiel for Monday night.
So I moved this side, sorry folks. That sun was just really easy. And I love it, it was only on my bag. And I'm like, I want to, Tiffany said it to me and I was thinking it too. We want to be like in the drum, you got to roast evenly on all sides. I don't know if you guys noticed, I was slowly turning. But I didn't want to eat my backside one, so I took it here. I think so what I'm curious about at this point, and sorry if you guys have to turn your necks, is Tara, because Tara was one of the, you know, you said that it was kind of almost uneventful for you reading the letter that you didn't feel the same kind of, you didn't have a reaction similar to some of the other peers. So I'm curious, what were some of your goals? What were some of the things you set out for yourself? And then looking back, that was kind of non-eventful for you? Putting you in the hot seat.
I think in my letter to myself, I had a lot more goals or like items tasks that I wanted accomplished. And both through LPI and through the recovery from the concussion, a lot of that has changed to be more people and more relationship oriented. And it was neat in the classes to see the differences in the culture of the family that I grew up in and the culture of the community that I live in. And how sometimes it butts heads, and it really helped me to understand my mom a lot more because she's coming from a different culture, a different perspective. And sometimes that's really, really difficult. So it was especially helpful to see the differences in both sides of the struggle. And I love it here. Marty, your family stepped up. I don't, maybe his name's Tony, had said that he understood he just talked to me, he didn't ask me any questions, but basically, you're from the island, but you don't know from where. And now you know you're from San Lorenzo. And that really touched me. And I love it here. I feel like I'm at home. But I feel this need, for my community, that it's more important for me to be there and help our kids know their history, their roots. And it's the difference between like the story of the boy with the starfish on the sea, like just saving one or saving a couple more. And I want that ripple effect. I want to go home and have more of our kids know how awesome it is to be alive and just go out and live a real life.
So it was really that your goals changed over time. But the letter didn't really reflect. When you wrote the letter, and from now, your goals had changed.
Yeah, my letter was off in the one direction.
And what you really experienced was
here.
here.
Really different point, which is a whole lot better.
You know, it always amazed me. You know, when I heard that you lived in the hood, I said to Felicia, "You sure?" And she said, "Yeah." She grew up there. I said, "Are you sure?" Kind of shocked me that you lived in the hood, because there ain't too many Americans living in the hood.
Yeah, some of my neighbors point that out when they find out I'm not one of them. It's like, but are there other white people around here? Are you the only one?
When I found out, when we first was in class, and I heard you say the street, I said, that's who you remind me of. Miss Darlene and Miss Ruth is always in the neighborhood where you live.
The other two white people.
Yeah. And I'm like, but you know, it's strange because you resemble her too. You know what I'm saying? So looking at you was like looking at a young Miss Darlene. You know what I mean? And Miss Darlene, and then I love her. And what she does in the community for free and take care of all the kids and take some of the camp in the land and does all these things, you can do that. And I can see you doing that. And you're Miss Darlene #2 in the hood. And to this day, Miss Darlene's still there. And she's still, you'll see her in her sneakers and her skirts, walking up and down, selling cookies. And those cookies